The truth is simple. You do not need a perfect life to begin. You need a firm decision, a clear standard, and the courage to follow through when your feelings change. The people who rise are not always the most gifted. They are the most consistent. They keep showing up when others disappear. They keep learning when others stop. They keep building when others rest too long. That kind of strength can be developed by anyone who is willing to pay attention and stay accountable. This message will help you do that. It will push you to take your life seriously, one choice at a time, and it will remind you that your future is waiting for the version of you who refuses to quit. Use this time to remember that progress is built in small rooms, quiet hours, and repeated effort. The days that feel ordinary are often the days that shape your destiny. Stay patient, stay hungry, and stay focused, because the life you want is built by the person you choose to be today. Fully, honestly, daily. Excuses sound harmless at first. They arrive wearing soft words and easy promises. They tell you tomorrow is fine. They tell you you are tired. They tell you the timing is bad, the market is slow, the family needs you, the mood is off, and the world is unfair. Sometimes one excuse is enough to delay a dream for weeks. Then weeks become months, and months become years, and a life that could have grown strong stays small because no one challenged the first lie. The first enemy of progress is not failure. It is the habit of explaining why you cannot move. Excuses give temporary relief, but they steal permanent power. They let you feel innocent while your future quietly waits. Real growth begins the moment you stop negotiating with weakness. It begins when you say, "I may be tired, but I am still responsible. I may be behind, but I am still able. I may not feel ready, but I am still going." That shift is everything. The person who wins does not have a life without problems. They have a standard that refuses to give problems the final word. They look at the same pressure and choose a different response. They stop asking how to escape work and start asking how to use the work to become better. That is not magical. It is mature. It is the first hard step toward a stronger self. If your life has been slowed by excuses, do not hate yourself for it. Just see it clearly. Excuses are learned. That means they can be unlearned. Every time you tell the truth to yourself, you weaken the lie. Every time you act when you could have delayed, you build trust. Every time you keep a promise after a long day, you become harder to break. A serious life is built by serious decisions, and the first serious decision is to stop protecting your excuses like they are part of your identity. They are not your identity. They are only habits, and habits can change. So today, choose the honest path. Choose the uncomfortable task. Choose the step that moves the life needle instead of the feeling needle. That is how progress starts. Not with perfect conditions, but with a firm heart and a clear mind. Neglect is a quieter enemy. It does not shout. It slips in when you stop caring enough to maintain what matters. Neglect is what happens when you let your standards get soft. It shows up when you stop reading, stop training, stop saving, stop planning, stop listening, stop checking your own habits, and stop paying attention to the small things that keep a life stable. Many people do not collapse because of one huge mistake. They drift because they neglected the small things long enough for weakness to grow. Neglect is dangerous because it feels minor. One missed day, one skipped effort, one ignored warning, one small lie to yourself, then another, then a pattern, and suddenly the gap between your potential and your reality becomes painful. But neglect can be defeated by care. Care about your time. Care about your sleep. Care about your mind. Care about your body. Care about the promises that no one else can see. A life of progress is never accidental. It is maintained. That means you protect your routines even when no one is clapping. You check what is slipping before it becomes a slide. You fix little problems before they become large regrets. The person who changes their future is often the person who learns to treat ordinary days with respect. They do not wait for a crisis to become responsible. They become responsible early. They understand that maintenance is not boring, it is powerful. A strong building is not strong because of one dramatic moment. It is strong because of careful design, strong support, and constant attention. Your life works the same way. If you want to grow, look at what you have neglected. Then return to it with discipline. Return to your health. Return to your craft. Return to your reading. Return to your budget. Return to your goals. Return to your words. Return to your commitments. The moment you start caring again, you start recovering power that was always yours. Neglect loses when attention returns. Doubt is a loud voice, but it is not an honest one. It sounds smart because it uses your own fear as its fuel. It says you are not experienced enough. It says other people are more talented. It says you have started too late. It says you failed before, so you will fail again. Doubt tries to look like wisdom, but it is usually just fear wearing a mask. The third enemy of progress is the story you tell yourself when you stop believing in your own ability to improve. Doubt can paralyze a strong mind if you feed it every day. Yet doubt becomes weaker when action begins. You do not wait to feel certain before you move. You move, and movement begins to create certainty. Every finished task teaches your mind that you can follow through. Every hard conversation teaches you that discomfort can be survived. Every small win becomes evidence. And evidence is stronger than fear. If you have been battling self-doubt, do not let it become your identity. Doubt is a visitor, not a home. Let it speak, then answer it with action. Let it question, then answer it with results. You do not need to prove your worth to every opinion. You only need to stay honest with your effort. The day will come when the work speaks louder than the worry. On that day, doubt will look smaller than it ever did. That is why your responsibility is not to eliminate every uncomfortable thought. Your responsibility is to keep going while the thoughts are still noisy. Strong people are not people without fear. They are people who refuse to bow to fear. They keep building while the mind is still unsure. They trust the process more than the panic. They use routine to quiet chaos. They use discipline to silence inner noise. And slowly, one steady choice at a time, they replace doubt with confidence that has been earned, not borrowed. Distraction is everywhere. It hides in the phone, the feed, the constant noise, the endless opinions, the urge to check, scroll, compare, reply, and drift. It does not always look harmful. Sometimes it feels like a break. Sometimes it feels like harmless rest. But when distraction becomes a lifestyle, focus disappears and progress slows. The fourth enemy of progress is not technology. It is the lack of control over your attention. Attention is one of the most valuable things you own. Where it goes, your life follows. If your attention is scattered, your energy becomes scattered. If your energy is scattered, your results become scattered. The people who make real progress learn to guard their attention like treasure. They decide what matters before the noise can decide for them. They know that a distracted mind cannot build a disciplined life. So they create boundaries. They put the phone down. They turn off what drains them. They give full focus to the task in front of them. Not because it is easy, but because it is worth it. If your focus has been weak, do not shame yourself. Strengthening focus is a practice. Start with small blocks of time. Start by finishing one thing before you begin another. Start by giving your best energy to the work that matters most. Each time you direct your attention on purpose, you are training your mind to obey your values instead of your impulses. That is powerful. A distracted person can be busy for years and still go nowhere. A focused person can make 1 month count more than someone else's whole year. That is the difference. Distraction steals hours. Focus builds a future. So protect your mind. Protect your mornings. Protect your work sessions. Protect your priorities. The life you want will not be found in constant interruption. It will be built in concentrated effort, in deep work, in quiet determination, and in the courage to choose what matters over what merely entertains. That choice changes everything. Comfort is the most polite enemy of them all. It does not insult you. It does not attack loudly. It simply invites you to stay where life feels easy enough. It offers soft routines, familiar habits, and the dangerous lie that staying still is the same as staying safe. Comfort feels good, but it has a hidden cost. It slowly shrinks ambition. It lowers standards. It makes urgency feel unnecessary. It teaches you to tolerate a smaller version of your life because smaller feels less risky. But a life built only around comfort becomes too weak to carry success. Growth always asks for a little discomfort. It asks you to stretch, to learn, to be seen, to be tested, to be inconvenienced for a better future. The fifth enemy of progress is comfort that lasts too long. When you get too settled, your hunger fades. When your hunger fades, your effort softens. When your effort softens, your future slows. That is why progress often begins with a hard decision to become uncomfortable on purpose. Get up earlier. Speak honestly. Take the harder assignment. Start the business. Send the message. Apply again. Train longer. Save more. Learn more. Do the thing that your comfort keeps postponing. The truth is that most people do not fail because they cannot handle pain. They fail because they cannot handle being uncomfortable for long enough to grow through it. But you can learn that skill. You can learn to be uncomfortable without being defeated. You can learn to feel the fear and still act. You can learn to want ease and still choose effort. That is how stronger people are made. They stop worshiping comfort. They start respecting growth. They understand that every new level of life will ask for a new level of sacrifice. And they accept that price because they understand what is waiting on the other side. Comfort may protect you for a day. Growth can protect your future. So when comfort whispers, answer with purpose. When comfort tempts you to delay, answer with discipline. When comfort tells you to settle, answer with hunger. That is how you move forward. Now listen to the deeper truth underneath all 5 enemies. Excuses, neglect, doubt, distraction, and comfort are not just bad habits. They are signals. They signal where your life is asking for leadership. A weak season does not mean you are weak. It means the part of you that leads has to wake up. Leadership begins inside. It starts when you stop treating your feelings like commands and start treating your values like commands. It starts when you become honest about what is costing you your future. Maybe it is the way you delay important work because the task feels heavy. Maybe it is the way you keep saying you will begin after one more break, one more weekend, one more low-pressure day. Maybe it is the way you let your mind run wild when one thing goes wrong, then the whole day falls apart. That is not failure. That is a pattern, and patterns can be changed. But only if you are willing to see them without excuses. The first act of strength is truth. The second act is response. Truth without response becomes sadness. Response turns truth into progress. So when you notice the old pattern, do not panic. Pause. Breathe. Tell yourself the truth. Then do one useful thing. One useful thing creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates identity. Over time, the identity becomes stronger than the old pattern. That is how people rebuild their lives. They do not wait for the perfect feeling. They train a new response until it becomes familiar. They become the kind of person who can be trusted by their own future. That kind of person does not need drama. They need direction. They do not need endless motivation. They need a clear standard. And that standard says, I do not let excuses lead me. I do not let neglect erode me. I do not let doubt define me. I do not let distraction scatter me. I do not let comfort tame my future. There is something powerful that happens when you stop asking life to be easier and start asking yourself to be stronger. The question changes everything. When you ask for ease, you may get temporary relief but little growth. When you ask for strength, you begin to build a self that can hold more. And the person who can hold more can become more. Not more in a prideful way, but more in a useful way. More reliable, more disciplined, more capable, more present, more stable, more valuable to their own life and to everyone they lead. You do not need to become a machine. You need to become dependable. Dependable people have a special kind of power because they can be counted on when emotions shift. They can be trusted when pressure rises. They can finish what they start. They can protect the vision when the excitement fades. That is the kind of person who changes families, teams, businesses, and futures. And that kind of person is built through repeated choices. Every day, decide what kind of life you are building. Decide what is acceptable and what is not. Decide what you will tolerate and what you will no longer allow. Decide that your future matters enough to require structure. Then create that structure. Build it around your mornings, your work, your recovery, your learning, and your focus. A dream without structure becomes a wish. A dream with structure becomes a plan. A plan with discipline becomes reality. That is why the same people who once felt stuck eventually become the people others look to for strength. They did not wait for life to hand them confidence. They created confidence through disciplined repetition. You can do the same. It is available to anyone who is willing to earn it. Progress also demands resilience, and resilience is not pretending that pain does not exist. Resilience is staying useful while pain exists. It is the ability to keep going while your emotions are still sorting themselves out. It is the decision to remain steady when life feels unsteady. Resilience is quiet. It is not always visible in the moment, but it shows up in the results. You see it in the person who got rejected and still improved. You see it in the person who failed and still studied the lesson. You see it in the person who lost time and still made the most of the time left. You see it in the person who had every reason to withdraw, but chose to engage with life again. That is resilience, not denial, not pretending, not forcing a smile while everything burns. Real resilience is honest, grounded, and active. It says, "This is hard, but I am still here. This is disappointing, but I am still learning. This is heavy, but I can still take the next step." If you want a stronger future, build resilience like a muscle. Put yourself in situations that require patience. Practice finishing when you want to quit. Practice recovery when plans change. Practice calm when the answer is not immediate. Practice hope when your surroundings are not encouraging. Each practice makes you steadier. And steady people go farther because they do not waste all their strength reacting to every small setback. They conserve energy for the work that matters. They become emotionally intelligent with their own life. They learn that not every problem needs a dramatic response. Some problems need patience. Some need strategy. Some need rest. Some need one clear decision and a firm boundary. The person who learns resilience learns how to stay in the game. And staying in the game is often what separates future success from permanent regret. You may be asking yourself, how do I actually beat these enemies in daily life? The answer is simple, but it is not easy. You beat them by replacing them. You replace excuses with responsibility. You replace neglect with care. You replace doubt with action. You replace distraction with focus. You replace comfort with growth. That replacement must happen again and again until it becomes your default. At first, the old habits will pull hard. They will feel familiar. They will sound reasonable. They will try to convince you that changing today is too much. Do it anyway, because the mind will eventually trust what the body repeats. If you keep choosing responsibility, your self-image changes. If you keep choosing care, your standards rise. If you keep choosing action, your confidence grows. If you keep choosing focus, your results improve. If you keep choosing growth, your life expands. This is not theory. It is how people become stronger in real life. The person who used to waste time can become a builder. The person who used to doubt everything can become steady. The person who used to neglect the details can become disciplined. The person who used to avoid discomfort can become brave. The person who used to settle can become hungry again. None of that happens in one day. It happens in repeated decisions. And repeated decisions become character. Character becomes identity. Identity becomes destiny. That is why today matters so much. Today is not a random day. It is a repetition opportunity. It is a chance to say yes to the future and no to the habits that kept you small. Use today well. Then use tomorrow well too. And keep doing that until your life begins to show the proof. One of the most powerful moments in any life is the moment the person stops waiting to feel like a winner and starts acting like someone worth building. That change matters. Not because you become arrogant, but because you become responsible for your own direction. You stop talking as if the future is something that happens to you. You start living as if the future is something you shape. That mindset changes how you wake up, how you work, how you spend money, how you study, how you rest, how you speak to yourself, and how you recover after a rough day. You become careful with your time because you understand that time is not only passing, it is being traded. Every hour is either building something or erasing something. Every choice is either strengthening your future or weakening it. That is why the strongest people are not careless. They are deliberate. They know the value of a focused morning, a clean decision, a healthy boundary, a finished task, and a quiet hour of deep work. They know that nobody accidentally becomes successful. They know that progress is expensive in attention, effort, and patience. But they also know it is worth the price. And once that truth settles in your heart, you stop looking for shortcuts that leave you empty. You start looking for steady roads that lead somewhere real. That is the shift. That is the moment when your life stops being ruled by noise and starts being guided by purpose. So look at your life today and ask a brave question. Which enemy has been winning most often? Is it excuse, neglect, doubt, distraction, or comfort? Be honest. Do not shame yourself. Just see it clearly. Then answer with one decision that proves you are serious. Make the call. Finish the work. Open the book. Put the phone away. Go for the walk. Review the plan. Wake up early tomorrow. Say no to the thing that drains you. Say yes to the thing that strengthens you. Tiny decisions can break huge patterns when they are repeated with courage. That is how people move from stuck to steady, from steady to strong, and from strong to unstoppable. Not overnight. Not by luck. By choice. by the willingness to choose better when the old way would have been easier. You do not need to transform the whole life in one moment. You need to interrupt the old pattern in this moment. Do that enough times, and the future has no choice but to change direction. Keep going. Keep building. Keep choosing what grows you. Your progress may be quiet at first, but it will not stay quiet forever. Soon enough, the work will start speaking. Soon enough, your results will start answering the doubt. Soon enough, the life you wanted will begin to show up because you finally decided to show up for it. Your future does not need a perfect version of you. It needs a committed one. It needs a person who keeps moving even when the mood is low, even when the road is unclear, even when the results are still forming. That is where victory begins. Not in applause, not in ease, in commitment. The stronger your commitment becomes, the less power the 5 enemies have over you. Excuses lose when responsibility becomes normal. Neglect loses when care becomes daily. Doubt loses when action becomes routine. Distraction loses when focus becomes protected. Comfort loses when growth becomes the priority. This is the life you can build, and it starts with the next decision you make. Not later. Now. Choose the work. Choose the lesson. Choose the discipline. Choose the standard. Choose the version of you that does not quit on the life you were meant to build. And when the day feels heavy, remember that heavy is not forever. It is only a season, and seasons move. What stays is the person you become inside them. So become stronger. Become calmer. Become sharper. Become more faithful to your own progress. Let this video remind you that the life you want is not hidden behind luck. It is hidden behind habits, and habits are built one choice at a time. Make the choice that moves you forward. Then make it again tomorrow. Then again after that. That is how the future changes. That is how ordinary people become powerful. That is how a stuck life turns into a story of resilience, progress, and earned success. No more excuses. No more neglect. No more surrendering to doubt, distraction, or comfort. Today is the day you begin again with more honesty and more courage than before. Take the next step, even if it is small. Take it with pride. Take it with focus. Take it like your future depends on it, because it does. And when you keep taking steps like that, the life you want will not stay a dream for long. It will become your new reality, built by your own hands, day by day fully. Do not wait for confidence to rescue you. Build confidence by keeping promises to yourself. That is how strength grows, and that is how progress becomes real. You are not stuck forever. You are not doomed by one bad season. You are not less than your goals. You are simply standing at a point where discipline can change everything. So take ownership of this moment. Move with purpose. Speak with honesty. Work with focus. Rest with intention. Repeat the process until the old life starts losing power. The future is not asking for perfection. It is asking for persistence, courage, and a mind that refuses to surrender. Keep going when it is boring. Keep going when it is hard. And keep going when the result is still unseen, because unseen work becomes visible success. Your progress is building right now, and it will reward you in time. Stay steady.